Okay, so here we go. Plenty to talk about. We've started. One over is still to go for the cricket, and KL Rahul gets 100. KL Rahul gets 100 and a brilliant innings. India was 4 down. KL Rahul stitched it together, has taken India to a competitive score close to 280 and batting at number 5. That was an excellent innings. Excellent innings from KL Rahul. Make no mistake. I mean, KL Rahul, even in the last match, closed out the match when the wickets fell in a heap. And this time, after the fall of quick wickets, Virat Kohli and Shubman Gill getting out in quick succession after the fall of Rohit Sharma. KL Rahul steadying the ship, that partnership with Ravindra Jadeja, and now getting to his 100. That's a solid innings from KL Rahul. We'll come back to that. But that was a brilliant innings. One has to say that from KL Rahul. But I'll start with badminton today. I'll start with badminton because there is quite a controversy surrounding the Indian Open. Mia Blichfeld making that point about pollution in Delhi, about dirty courts, and Mia says, I'm happy with the court conditions, but not the health conditions. The floors are dirty. There are birds flying in the arena, and there are bird droppings as well. As an European player, I think I'm more sensitive to all this stuff. And then she goes on, last year I made a complaint about the conditions because I think it's not fair to the players. A lot of us get sick, and that means we cannot participate in the tournament the week after. And she's clearly talking about the Indonesian Open. I know everyone is doing their best to make the conditions better, but there's still a long way to go. That's Mia Blichfeld. Adding to that, her compatriot in the male domain, Anders Antonsen, who withdrew from the tournament the third time in a row, says, quote, many are curious as to why I pulled out for the third consecutive year due to the extreme pollution in Delhi. At the moment, I don't think it is a place to host a badminton tournament. Crossing my fingers, it will be better in the summer when the World Championships take place in Delhi. As a result, BWF has fined him 5,000 USD. Now, BI has responded to this. BI, Sanjay Mishra, the BI secretary, has responded to this saying, Mia's comments were made in a broader context around general playing conditions and personal health sensitivities, not about the playing arena at the Yonex Sunrise India Open specifically. She has clearly stated that the competition venue is well maintained. So that's what Sanjay Mishra says. And he goes on to say that Mia was perhaps talking about the KD Jadhav Stadium. He says the playing arena has been kept clean, dirt-free, pigeon-free. Several players have expressed satisfaction with the conditions at the venue. Interestingly, Kidambi Shrikant says, and I quote, the conditions are totally fine, and I don't understand the hue and cry over it. I had to wait an hour in Denmark before my match in 2016-17 because the lights went out. HS Pranoy told me he had to play a game the next day, so these things happen. No country does these things intentionally, as everyone wants to be at their best. In fact, India has also got support from Kunvalut Vititsan, who says that he loves coming to India. The conditions are fine, and he's totally fine with what is prevalent in Delhi. So, the two Danes, Mia Blichfeld and Anders Antonsen on one side, some international players, including Kunvalut Vititsan, and the Indians on the other side. That's quite a controversy as far as the Indian Open is concerned. To be honest, the pollution is an issue. We cannot skirt that. The pollution and the AQI in Delhi is certainly an issue that we are all worried. Even our own in Delhi find it very difficult to breathe. And this has been a consistent problem in Delhi for a good number of years. If you remember, in cricket, the Sri Lankan team had to wear masks when they had stepped out to play. The pollution in Delhi is worrisome. It is very problematic with the AQI at times reaching 400 plus. So this is not something that we can ignore. Having said that, it is not something the BI can help. And when Mia Blichfeld, she's by the way not complaining about the pollution alone. She's talking about the practice arena. She says bird droppings and pigeon droppings and all of that. That actually is a factual question. While the other players are not saying that, why is Mia saying it? So while I take the pollution point, and Delhi is problematic with pollution, even we face the same problems despite being Indians and despite being used to these kind of conditions. These are difficult conditions. But the court, the stadium, as Kunvalut says, as Kidambi Shrikant says, the court isn't a problem. And that is something one has to has to really take into one stride that, are you kind of complaining? Are you kind of complaining from a standpoint which is perhaps not fair? Are you kind of complaining from a standpoint that you're not trying to understand and making points which are not really fair? So is Mia Blichfeld, and in this case Anders Antonsen, kind of guilty? Mia Blichfeld and Anders Antonsen guilty of being a little too harsh. But I say again, I take the point on pollution. I do take the point on pollution, and that is to be taken very, very seriously. That's the badminton story. We haven't seen the end of it. Our colleague Abhishek Mishra is in Delhi at the Indian Open. He will bring us more. He will speak to Sanjay Mishra, bring us the Badminton Association of India perspective on this matter, what they feel. He will give us a first-hand sense about the courts. He will give us a first-hand sense about the conditions that are prevailing in Delhi or prevalent at this point in time. Coming back to cricket now, India finishes with 284 for 7, with KL Rahul striking a beautiful 100. And this has been an innings of immense quality from KL Rahul as he takes India to 284 for 7, pretty much the same score that New Zealand had in the first game. Almost the same score that New Zealand had in the first game, 15, 16 runs. New Zealand had 300, India 284 for 7. It is a good score in the sense, or rather a competitive score. Competitive score. Oh no, how will they abuse KL Rahul today? Feeling sad for those naysayers. Why you bother, Nashili? Don't bother about naysayers. There are naysayers everywhere. Some will now come and say, why did he play so slow? Some will come and say, oh, you know what? He could have scored 20 more. He could have farmed the strike better. He should have not given Nitish Reddy that much strike. With Ravindra Jadeja, he could have controlled it more. You are not don't bother about them. You focus on what you have what you have seen. It has been an absolute quality innings from KL Rahul. Let's decode the Indian innings and KL Rahul for sure. Who's this? Yadush Shail Murali. You say, I think India 10-20 runs short. Superb knock by KL Rahul. Absolutely. Superb knock by KL Rahul. But you've also got to keep in mind that wickets fell back to back. Rohit Sharma, after the Rohit Sharma dismissal, Virat and Shubman were going really well. Shubman, I thought, was playing beautifully. That was a kind of against the run of play dismissal, that shot where he tried to pull the ball from head high, playing it to mid wicket to Kylie Jamieson at a time when he had really taken control. 56 of 51 balls. Shubman Gill getting better. If you see Shubman Gill in the last game and Shubman Gill in this particular game, you will know what I'm talking about. Much, much better in terms of composure, in terms of the shots that he played, in terms of his ability to take control. First 4-5 overs, Kylie Jamieson was getting the ball to move. Rohit Sharma was finding it difficult. Shubman Gill was also finding it difficult. And then all of a sudden, the Indians kind of exploded and got to about 6 or 7 and over and totally changed it. In the first 4 or 5, I think it was 5 overs, 14 or something like that. And then in 9 overs, it became about 50 plus. So that was the kind of explosion that we saw from Rohit Sharma and Shubman Gill. But when Shubman Gill got out and then Virat Kohli chopped that on, all of a sudden, India was under pressure. You needed someone to anchor the innings. And I'm using the word anchor, knowing full well what I'm saying. Someone needed to stay out there till the 50 overs were bowled. And that is what KL Rahul did to absolute perfection. KL Rahul brilliantly anchored that innings, first with Ravindra Jadeja, then with Nitish Kumar Reddy, taking India to 284 for 7. If you see the way Michael Bracewell bowled, there is a bit for the spinners. Will the Indian spinners come to the party? Toss was lost. This will be a challenge for the Indians, but that's what you want to see. You don't want to see contests where the team batting second keeps on winning and it becomes a predictable kind of thing. So will the Indian bowlers be able to step up today and stop New Zealand will be of real interest. Coming to KL Rahul, I don't think we give KL Rahul enough credit for his one-day efforts. Vaibhav Taragi, can't we even maintain the basic hygiene in the courts. Mia Blichfeld complaint puts us in a shame, and the second complaint from her World Badminton Championship is in India this year. We had a chat with Sanjay Mishra, Vaibhav Taragi. Sanjay categorically denies the complaint, says the court that the venue is perfectly fine. In fact, if you see Kunvalut Vititsan, if you see Kidambi Shrikant, if you see some of the others, they have also commented about the court, and none of them have said anything about the conditions of the court of the Yonex Sunrise India Open. Is she talking about the KD Jadhav Stadium, or is she talking about the venue? Uh, is she which is the venue that she's talking about? The practice courts or the main venue? If it's the main venue, the Badminton Association of India, and I'll put this on record by Bhaktirani, the Badminton Association of India secretary spoke to me 10 minutes back and categorically dismissed the complaints. As far as the area is concerned, there is a lot of green there. Anybody who has been there, there is a lot of green. There are trees. Impossible to stay get the birds away from there and all of that. There is a lot of green. So you cannot. Is the complaint fair? The pollution point is fair. The Anders Antonsen point about pollution is fair. But are the court conditions poor? I don't think they are, because Kunvalut Vititsan, Kidambi Shrikant, and the others have also commented about the court conditions and have contested the Mia Blichfeld claim. Anders Antonsen talks about the pollution in Delhi, and he speaks about summer. I don't think August will be any problem whatsoever in Delhi. The problem starts from end of October, when we see the stubble burning happen, when we see the AQI start to go up and up, when we see pollution becoming a serious issue. We see that from late October during Diwali time, and subsequently when winter creeps in, winter sets in, it becomes a real issue till the end of January. So August 17th to the 23rd, the dates for the World Championship in Delhi, Vaibhav, I don't see that as a problem at all. At all. India will put its best foot forward, will stage the tournament in a proper manner. There will be no pollution issue at that point in time in Delhi. Or in the Maji. Boria, do you think Shubman batting with experienced Rohit really helped him for far better than batting with Abhishek Sharma in T20, matching shot for shot? No, it is not about batting with Rohit or batting with Abhishek. It is about the format. Shubman Gill's style of play is much more suited to the 50-over format. I keep saying this for the Indian women's team. I keep saying it for Virat Kohli. I keep saying it for Shubman Gill, that the format, the 50-over format, suits their game better. Virat has done well in the IPL, but if you come to think of it, think of the T20 World Cup. The one impactful innings that Virat played was very much a 50-over innings. The first 50 came off close to 45 balls, and then the 26 came in some 13, 14 balls. But the first 50 was so impactful because India had lost wickets. India had lost wickets in the T20 World Cup final. India needed somebody to anchor the innings, and that's where Virat Kohli's innings became significant. So the format is what defines Virat Kohli, or format is what making it different for Shubman Gill. In the T20 format, now the template is no longer an anchor. It's no longer an anchor. It's from ball one, aggression, and it continues with aggression with the kind of shot players that you have in the team. Now, Akash Chopra made a very important point to me. He said, then why did the selectors go with Shubman? And he said, you must also remember that except Ajit Agarkar, all the four other selectors have been changed. So the selection committee that had picked Shubman Gill and the selection committee that is now there in place are two fundamentally different committees. So maybe this committee does not believe in the anchor template. But coming to your question, Orindam, I think what is relevant here is the format that Gill is playing. This is a format that suits his style of play. Freaking awesome. No, this is how Rajkot wicket behaves. That's why no team won here by chasing. Chasing 300 plus is difficult. It is more slower. He is right. He is right. Rajkot is not going to be an easy wicket to chase. Yes, if there is dew and problems like that, it's a different matter. But we have to see, you have to see how our pacers mix the length and also use the slower ball. Harshit Rana does bowl the slower ball very well. Mohammad Siraj has the ability to really mix up pace. So our bowlers, if they are able to use the conditions plus the spinners, I think India has a decent enough total on the board to make a fighting case of this. The Rajkot wicket will not make it easier. If you see the nature there, if you have sort of closely observed, there is something in it for the spinners and the faster bowlers. Back of the hand, slower ball, multiple different change of pace could have impact with Monk. KL Rahul post World Cup finals trauma is a different beast, playing many clutch innings in the ODI format, which deserves equal hype. I couldn't agree more. Absolutely correct, Fitbunk 4889. Achha, your thing was Fitbunk. How is it become 4889? What is the 4889 for? Has somebody, you said somebody has impersonated your account or something like that? Is that the reason? Tell me. Because how is it 4889 and what is the significance of 4889? But coming to your question, absolutely spot on. KL Rahul has played many a clutch innings for India at number 5, number 6. Doesn't get the hype. You keep hearing about a Virat Kohli, you keep hearing about a Rohit Sharma, a Shubman Gill, but you hardly talk much about, you also hear about Shreyas Iyer, but hardly talk much about KL Rahul in this format. And given the classical batsmanship of KL Rahul, I think in South African conditions in the 2027 World Cup, KL Rahul will have a major role to play. I think the batting lineup is shaping up quite well. It's looking quite good. You have a Rishabh Pant who might make it back. You have in the team that is maybe not even not in the 11. Okay, Gargi has sent something. What is this? KL Rahul is a different player since the England series. Achha, she's talking about the England Test series. When she did a report where a family member, yes, I remember that report by Gargi Raut, where she actually did a report where KL Rahul was told that he needed to be, he has to come out of the background and back the young captain. The team needs him, and you could see him take more responsibility, be far more proactive from the slips, be far more proactive in every sense. So yes, I remember that report by Gargi, and KL Rahul has been a clutch batter for India in the 50 over format for some time now. And it's shaping to be quite a team. If you see Rohit Sharma and Shubman with backup in Yashasvi Jaiswal. So that's your 3 openers sorted. Virat at 3, obviously. Shreyas at 4. KL at 5. Your number 6, Ravi Jadeja at 6. You could add a Washington Sundar at 7. Maybe that's where I think in place of Nitish Kumar Reddy it becomes a tad thin, but when you have a Washington Sundar it becomes more meatier. You will possibly have a Jasprit Bumrah and then a couple of your bowlers. It can be a Siraj, it can be an Arshdeep, it can be a Harshit too can bat. So that's your side. The genesis of the World Cup team is more or less getting crystallized. It's still about 20 months to go, but we are seeing what we think could be India's World Cup team. And it's a very good team. Very good team. Aryan Paul, is there any effect on finishing overs for not using 2 new balls? You see, the way the pitch played today, the way the conditions played today, 2 new balls, how many overs? Not really. I don't think there was much impact in terms of balls. Yes, the conditions weren't easy to hit the big shots, and you could see some of the Indian batters struggle. If you see some of the dismissals, Shubman going into the shot early, Virat again, if you see Virat's dismissal. So all of these things must be kept in mind when we say about the New Zealand run chase, and I don't see New Zealand having it very easy. Mohammad Raihan, I think Aksar better than Jadeja. You actually have a point. Ravindra Jadeja is a gun player, but Aksar Patel with the bat is perhaps at this point with the big shots is as good, if not better than Ravindra Jadeja. That's why he's your vice captain in the T20 format. I've not seen anything from Jadeja that tells you that you can drop him. But I also see Aksar Patel could play both. In place of Nitish Kumar Reddy, you can absolutely play an Aksar Patel because he's a gun player, an experienced player, a senior pro. Yes, you will have 2 left arms, but that's fine. 2 different kind of bowlers and really good batting from Akshar Patel. So the point you are trying to make about Akshar Patel being part of the side is a well taken point. Sunny Max, Rohit looks very different from the 2023 World Cup, more watchful. Virat is aging like fine wine. Come on. Rohit was looking beautiful in Australia. That time he was the captain. The role is different. He is not the captain, a designated role. And again, if you see, Shubman at the start of the last match was struggling. It was Rohit who started playing shots. Today also, that inside out over extra and that straight shot, it was Rohit who got it going. Given a couple of games, Virat is aging like fine wine. I think Rohit is also aging like fine wine. In Australia, he did the hard yards, got the 100, even against South Africa, played really, really well. The pull shot came out, the hook shot came out. I don't think there is any problems with Rohit. The approach that you are talking about, he was captain then. He was captain then. It was his decision to formulate the approach. This is a different setup. This is a different captain. He has been given a role and he has done exceedingly well since that Australia series. That 70 plus in the second game in Australia, 100 in the third game. Against South Africa, multiple 50s. Here also, he's given India two solid starts. Yes, you could say that maybe a tad more aggressive, but when Kylie Jamieson was bowling at the top, he was getting the ball to move, especially the outswing was going. So India needed to be watchful. Rohit did play a couple and miss. So you have to also give it to the bowlers when the bowling is good. I think he's better than Jadeja, Mohammad Ryan. As I said, I've explained my point. We'll see what happens. Or in the why is Arshdeep not in the playing 11? Excuse of resting. I think it is not acceptable. This is a very fair question that you're asking. If you are wanting to rest Arshdeep, tell me why did you have him in the team and not Mohammad Shami? If you really want to rest Arshdeep for the T20 World Cup, that's fine by me, by the way. You want to rest Arshdeep, it's okay. But then give Mohammad Shami a go. Give Mohammad Shami a go. Mohammad Shami could have easily played that this series. You could have seen if Mohammad Shami has game left. You could have seen if Mohammad Shami still has the ability and the quality left in him. If you're not playing Arshdeep and preserving him from the world for the World T20, and I understand that logic, you should have given Mohammad Shami a go. I don't understand why you would have to have Arshdeep in the team and not play and leave Mohammad Shami out until and unless you tell us that you have moved away from Mohammad Shami, which again is a bit bizarre because then you're taking a call on age because Mohammad Shami has looked fit and has played every form of cricket. So I buy this point, but instead of Arshdeep, which I think is okay, you could have got Mohammad Shami into the team and tried him out. Mohammad Ryan, Rohit is not playing power play aggressive. Again, it is about approach, what the team has told him. It is not about going hammer and tongs from ball one. It's a different kind of calibration. Rohit is not the captain anymore. The captain is different. So one has to clearly keep all of these things in mind. This is not Rohit Sharma's World Cup side that he takes the call. He decides on the approach. By the way, I think Rohit has played some really impactful innings since Australia and has played some quality cricket shots. If you ask me, even today, the way he went for the shot, it was a selfless shot. It is not as if he was trying to play him in. He tried to hit over inside out over extra. The ball got a bit squarer. Even in the last game, Rohit was out to an aggressive shot. If you think stepped out, got caught at extra cover. So Rohit Sharma has not been playing for himself. He's clearly playing for the team. I've got no problems whatsoever with the way Rohit Sharma has batted. Who's this? Orpon Burman. We still lack a lower order batter in place of Hardik, maybe Shivam Dube. But in whose place? In whose place are you talking about Shivam Dube? Because Shivam Dube's bowling in the 50 over format will not be up to the mark. So you're talking in place of maybe Nitish Reddy, or maybe you're talking in place of a Washington Sundar. If a Washington Sundar is fit, I don't see either a Shivam Dube or Nitish Reddy fit that mix, because I think Washington Sundar is capable of bowling 7-8 overs definitely in a 50 over contest. And Washington Sundar's batting is as good. I think Washington Sundar in Indian conditions, even overseas conditions, that actually will be a pretty decent number 7. Unless India gets Hardik Pandya back into the mix with fitness. Has Hardik's body recovered enough to take the rigors of the 50 over game? From what I understand, he was told that his body is still not fit enough to take the rigors of the 50 over game, and they are preserving him for the T20 World Cup. Post that, I do believe that Hardik will start to play the 50 over game, because I do think Hardik Pandya will be a key cog in the Indian wheel in the World Cup of 27. So I am pretty confident that after the T20 World Cup is over, you will see Hardik's change in track and he will start to play the 50 over game more. Yadush, again, Murali, we didn't attack New Zealand spinners. They stuck with their lines. Yes, because at that point the wickets fell. Ravi Jadeja was a young, was new at the crease. KL Rahul was new at the crease. Two wickets fell in quick succession, and then Nitish Reddy playing out that maiden wicket over when Ravindra Jadeja got out. I think it was over number 39, 191 for 5. Ravindra Jadeja got out. That's when Harshit Rana, Nitish Kumar Reddy played out a maiden over to Michael Bracewell. But you've also got to give credit. Is the ball gripping? The spinners are getting a bit of purchase. So Michael Bracewell bowled well. Michael Bracewell bowled well and got the rewards. It's not only about batters. Please, we need to think beyond that. It's also about the bowlers. They are doing a quality job. So that's also something we got to keep in mind. Manikanta Suri, what is your view on today's pitch? 285 is a good target. Yes, it is. It is a decent score. Maybe 300, but more than that, it's not going to be an easy chase in Rajkot at all. I think it is a good enough target. I think it's a good enough score for India to be competitive. They've got to bowl well. But I am looking at the spinners. I will be looking at the spinners as to how they bowl in on this wicket. I don't see role of Jadeja and ODI. Why no one knew? What do you mean you don't see the role of Jadeja? Jadeja has a massive role. Today also he kind of stemmed the rot, had a really decent enough partnership, is capable of picking up a couple of wickets, holds the middle overs tight, feels very well. What do you mean you don't see a role of Jadeja in the 50 over game? I see a massive role of Jadeja, or for that matter, Akshar Patel, very similar players in the 50 over game. Akshar has a bigger hit now, but Ravindra Jadeja still has the game for the 50 over contest. New Zealand misread the pitch. It seems to be getting slower and keeping low. There is uneven bounce. Even for Rohit Sharma at the top, there was uneven bounce. He had to bend down and play a couple of balls. So I did see the wicket offer inconsistent bounce from the very start. Has New Zealand misread the pitch? I think it's too early to say. I think it's too early to say. We've got to see what happens in the first few overs of the Indian bowling effort to make up our minds about the wicket. Any updates on the BCB standoff, Sunny Max? I think BCB has dug themselves into a big hole now. I think that, okay, let me put this very clear. Have you heard a single word from the BCCI? Have you not seen that the tickets are still being sold on Book My Show? Even today in the morning I had tried. Let me check once now. I think the tickets are still being sold on Book My Show. If the tickets are still being sold on Book My Show, let's just check once for everybody. Otherwise, I don't want to make a false comment here. So here it is. Bangladesh. Are the tickets still being sold? Yes, they are. There you go. There you go. Tickets are still being sold on Book My Show. And that is evidence enough that the ICC at this point has certainly not given in to Bangladesh's demands of moving the matches to Sri Lanka. There is zero instruction from the ICC to the BCCI. So the BCCI as hosts are going about with the clear-cut notion that the tickets still can be sold or is being sold on the assumption that the tournament goes on as planned. Eventually, if Bangladesh does not come, they will be forfeiting not just points, but will also face a big financial penalty, which can impact the financial health of the BCB. Also, I can tell you this, that if Bangladesh doesn't come to the World Cup in India, I don't see India's men's team going to Bangladesh, which is a windfall series for any member board in the world. So if India doesn't travel to Bangladesh, by the way, remember, India has already pushed the series back. The women's team was supposed to come to India. That series has also been cancelled. Now, if the men's team does not go to Bangladesh, basis Bangladesh not coming for the World Cup, who stands to lose? There is one loser in this game, and that is the BCB. The financial health of the BCB will go for an absolute toss. And in trying to meet the political demands and playing to the political electorate of the country, Bangladesh politicians are sacrificing their players and sacrificing their cricket. Imagine this, the players have done well to qualify. They deserve to play the World Cup. But now, if the political establishment, in trying to play the game of one-upmanship against India and show that they can see India eye to eye, they are willing to sacrifice the interests of their players. The fundamentalist group or the jingoistic group will say, oh, you know what, this is ultra nationalist and this is fine, this is about national dignity. It is, if it is about national dignity, what is Sharafuddollah doing today in Rajkot, officiating in that match between India and New Zealand? Is Sharafuddollah dispensable? Is the Bangladesh board going to even talk about Sharafuddollah? How come he is in India being allowed? He is being allowed to officiate in a game. Where is the security threat as far as Sharafuddollah is concerned? The BCB will be mum, because by playing with an umpire, you cannot play to the gallery, which you can do with Mustafizur Rahman. So we understand. We understand the politics that is being played out, but the eventual loser in this game has to be the BCB and the cricketers of Bangladesh, who will possibly lose an opportunity to play a T20 World Cup. That is the bigger question. The ICC has not budged about this, about this whole issue at all, and we know that from our sources in the ICC. Kuldeep Yadav will be a key for India in the second innings. 100%. 100% Kuldeep Yadav will be a key. As long as there's no dew, if the ball grips, Kuldeep Yadav will be a real handful. New Zealand has not played Kuldeep Yadav as much, and the batting is relatively inexperienced. Kuldeep Yadav will certainly be important for India. It is gripping. I think you're right. Ravindra Jadeja will also be a real handful if the ball starts to grip. Shayan Ganguly. Should the ICC not be clear about the Bangladesh scenario by making a final official decisive statement? What if fans book tickets, make travel plans? You are right. You're right, Shayan Ganguly, but I think the ICC is giving Bangladesh the final opportunity. They don't want to go ahead with a World Cup without Bangladesh. It's now been 10 days. If the ICC had any intention of, think about it, if you have to move matches, you have to rejig the schedule. You have to inform Sri Lanka. You have to inform host associations and venues. If the ICC had any interest or any inkling of going down that route, it would have done that by now. BCCI sources tell us the BCCI has not been informed by the ICC about any change in venue. And I say this with reasonable confidence that the BCCI has not been told by the ICC at all about any possible change in venue, which is why the BCCI continues to sell tickets for the Bangladesh game on its ticketing platform, even as we do the show. So you're right, Shayan. I think the ICC is giving Bangladesh the final opportunity to try and see sense, because as the ICC said, the security risk in India is low or a modest at best. So there is no question. Think about the Indian Open, how many countries are represented. Think about the Hockey India League going on, men's and women's. Women's just got over a couple of days back. How many countries were represented? Who complained about security, or did anybody complain about security? This is a political one-upmanship game that is going on, and the one loser in this has to be Bangladesh. Or if Bangladesh continues, cricket will go for a toss. I kind of agree. The Bangladesh is behaving. I believe other international teams will be reluctant to go and play in Bangladesh rather than calling them up. Other teams, I don't know. Other teams, we don't know. But the truth also is, if Bangladesh doesn't come, will the Indian team go to Bangladesh for the bilateral tour? The answer is no. And if India doesn't travel, who loses out? Bangladesh does. BCCI will not be impacted by the hollow threats of not showing IPL in Bangladesh. It doesn't even generate 2 rupees. It doesn't generate $2 that the BCCI will give, will bother about it at all. The financial might of the BCCI is such that it does not depend on other markets, but other markets, Bangladesh, does depend on an Indian tour. If they don't travel, they stand to forfeit a portion of their ICC central revenue, which is about $27 million, 4.46%. Now, if they lose that money, the financial health of the BCB could well go for a toss, and that could become a big problem. I think in the next couple of days, from what I know, a couple of days maximum, there will be a decisive result of this impasse. And I think the ICC at this point at least is in no mood whatsoever to kind of relent. Shobhashachi Basu, I'll end the show there. Conway and Mitchell wicket will be the key in this chase. I think they have some good batters. It will depend on the start. It will also depend on how the Indian spinners bowl. If the Indian spinners get purchase, grip, turn, and if there's no due, then obviously the Indian spinners will come into the party. It's time for the game to resume. I'll end the show there, but I do think 284 is a reasonable score, and I will end saying KL Rahul has played an absolute masterclass, giving India an opportunity to close out the series after the loss of 4 wickets. And when you have a Ravi Jadeja and a Nitish Reddy, and that's it. Because after that, it's Harshit Rana, Mohammad Siraj, and the others. KL Rahul's innings becomes priceless because he was the anchor, he was the aggressor, he was the one who kept it all together. So hopefully, India will be able to win the series today and do it for KL Rahul as well. Orpon Borman, the Ali Khan's visa, again, let me clarify this once and for all. There will be some provocative comments on this. The visas that are stuck, it has been rejected, hasn't been the visas that are stuck, India-Pakistan standoff, it takes time. But if there is a clear-cut mandate by the government of India about giving visas to Pakistani players also post Operation Sindoor for a multi-nation tournament, I can tell you that all of the Americans, including the expats, will get visas to come to India. That will get sorted. It will not be that their visas will not come through. And that, I can tell you, stated policy of the government of India is for multi-nation tournaments, visas will be granted, and that includes the state of Pakistan. So if there are expats playing for the US, it will not be double standards on the part of India. That's what I believe. That's what will happen. I think this entire social media uproar that you are seeing is again sensationalism to a certain degree, trying to create this impression that, oh, you know what, India is not granting visas, which is not going to be the case because the government policy on this matter is absolutely clear. Let me end the show here. There's plenty more content coming your way. Under 19 World Cup starts tomorrow with India versus United States. Rohit Juglan will report at length from Zimbabwe and Namibia on the Under 19 World Cup. There is a lot of football news that's happening. The governing council being formed, the governing board, the managing council for the ISL, we will report on that as well. So plenty of news coming. Indian Open badminton controversy will continue. Abhishek Mishra will track that story. Thank you very much for watching.